I done seen women going to church with their breasts out. I done seen little girls going to prom with their breast out. It seems like you can't say anything to black people. If you do, you are Uncle Tom, white supremacist, or you're contributing to white supremacy. And I don't understand how I can lose my black card for holding black people accountable. What is going on, everyone's? We are here and we are back with another episode of
Is My Point Valid?
Yes, indeed. And I am yours truly, Brandon D.
I am Camille A. Stocker.
And we are the Stocker family, as you know. If you don't know, now you know. Baby. No. But today we're going to get into a topic that we've been seeing a lot of different things pertaining to this. And the topic for today is going to be...
There is no shame in the black community.
And man, let me tell you, I done seen women going to church with their breasts out. I done seen little girls going to prom with their breasts out. I done seen all kind of stuff going on. It seems like you can't say anything to black people. If you do, you are Uncle Tom, white supremacist, or you're contributing to white supremacy. And I don't understand how I can lose my black card for holding black people accountable. How was that?
I mean, when I was talking about the no shame, I see how people dress and it's just like, people, because the excuse with that is it's the trend. It's what's happening. Every time there's a trend, even if you look from the 1900s, there was a trend on how people dressed. And so the young girls were part of, the trend. You have the long nails, you have the long weave, you have the face full of makeup. Like that is the trend. And so because that is the trend, because that is what you see celebrities do, you follow that. And so we allow our young daughters to emulate those things. And as well, I don't do it, but other women do allow for themselves to do those things. And I didn't say that for no shade or anything, because I'm gonna put my eyebrows on, I'm gonna put some lip
you gonna
gloss.
Put them on?
I'm gonna put them on. Some lip gloss or some lip liner, do the little that. I don't do the whole mascara thing. I know how to put on makeup. I have it, like foundation and all that. I have it. I know how to wear it, but is it an everyday thing? Is it a go-to thing? Because I feel that this is going to just, because this is what I have to do, that's not a part of... It
makes you look pretty?
I don't wear it because it makes me look pretty.
Why do you wear it?
Because there's this thing called hyperpigmentation. And so if I'm going to an event and I would like my face to look... hyperpigment? If I want my face to look even, I would put that on and then, all that. But it's not, it has nothing to do with...
Me personally, and this is just a man speaking, I think makeup, eyelashes, eyebrows, all that stuff, I think that it is a form of identity fraud. You put on all these things and the person that you look like up under all of those things is not who you really are. Now, it's not for everyone because everyone doesn't walk around looking like a gypsy. But for the ones who do, it's misleading. Is disingenuous, and you're getting a certain type of man or trying to attract a certain type of man based on fraudulent facial features.
But with the argument with that, they'll say they're not doing it for men, right? They're doing it for themselves. And I'm gonna kind of agree. I think they are doing it to do all of that, and then
say you're solely doing it for yourself.
For women who
that's not cap.
For women who are married, who spend all that time with it,
that's just retarded.
I think that's for them. Now, I can't say about single women. I don't know what their goal is, but I'm seeing married women who do these things, and it's just like...
Well, that makes sense because the man, if you're married,
right,
then he really don't care. He done seen you in your ugly. He done seen you in your top notch and all of that there. So you really, I can see that.
That's what I wasn't talking about. Single women
who are out here on the market per se, I don't think they're doing it for themselves. Because why would you?
Because once again, that trend, because that's what and then you can't limit that to black people, right? You cannot limit it to black people.
Absolutely.
You see it all across the board.
Yeah.
And it's some buffoonery. Like,
it's fraud all the way across the board too.
Wow, y'all didn't think that was too much? Like, you didn't think the lashes were too much? Even with the Botox and stuff like that, you got people that's putting these puffy cheeks in and making their eyes and their lips bigger. All of that is fraud. Yeah, and then, I would probably have been quick to say, to each their own. But
live and let live.
But when you start to alter who you are or change, that means that, like, makeup, you can take it off, right? At the end of the day, the next day you'll probably have a bonnet on your head and walk out and go to Walmart and be like, but on the weekend, I'm getting, what is it? What's the word they used? I don't know. They be getting cute, but it's a word, right? Anyhow, but when you start to alter things, like, I feel like Botox is an alter. I think it is, because you're putting something into your body to make your face
puffy,
stay the same,
and you look like a feline
when it's supposed to alter, right? So I'm not for all that putting things into your body. So I think a lot of this is just, it's altering things, and I feel like this is, you're saying to yourself, to the world, to me and whomever, you're not satisfied with whom God made you to be. And I see that as a problem. I see that as a problem as older women, and I can put myself in that position as an older, I'm not saying older, but someone as big sis, right? To say,
auntie.
Big sis.
You don't want to be auntie?
Because, you
is auntie.
I guess because my oldest niece is 26, so but I feel like we're not saying enough of saying, hey, you are okay how you are, how you are. That's one of the things that I'm teaching my children. You good. If you feel that that's what you want to do, then do it for you. But
that don't need to be your identity.
Right.
It doesn't need to be an everyday thing. It doesn't need to be something like that. There are people who are in relationships where they can't even make it to where they're going on time because you got to make your face up.
And then, I like with that, because we're seeing the stuff on social media, which I think social media is not real. I think it's all, it's one moment that somebody takes and puts it online. And then you have real people take that moment and run
try
with
to
it.
Duplicate it on a regular basis.
Yeah. Like, it's too much of that happening. Like, reality. If you saw the reality of my life every day, you would be like, interesting. Because I'm not like to fake this stuff or whatever. But yeah, so I think that has to do with dress. Is that dress code?
Yeah.
Dress code.
Yeah.
But the shame, what I was saying from the beginning when I got into the makeup and stuff, was what I was talking about. Shame was pregnancy out of wedlock and childhood pregnancy. And when I say childhood pregnancy, like, there's a show called 16 and Pregnant, and I watched it. I watched it when it first came out.
And that's a thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a real life thing. And then, like, you see that even at 15, that there's like, and I guess my issue with that is there any talk about what you should not be doing? Like, why is it such an interest in sex? Why are girls who are 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, if you are not married, why are we taking in this concept of sex and nobody's saying
you need not to be doing that,
right?
Because that's where babies come from,
right?
And then we're praising it. There's been so many times where we'll have a baby shower for these single women with babies, no man in sight, no daddy, no men whatsoever, but we're praising women for having babies on their own. Then these same women knew that man wasn't ready for it to be a father. And I'm not saying we can't use abortions as a contraceptive.
No, you cannot.
The best thing to do is to stop opening your leg, giving up your most prized possession to a man that you barely even know.
But if nobody is teaching you that you don't do that, what do? You open your legs to men and give yourself to somebody and he is saying, hey, we ain't got to use protection. I need to feel what I need to feel.
Yeah.
And the girl is going to be like, okay, raw because doggy. You love me. I love you, girl. And so then
let me just put the tip in.
See? So it can't be the girl knows. If nobody's teaching, it can't be a thing of this boy should not be doing this if nobody's teaching.
That lets you know that the pleasure of all of it is
all it is.
That's all it is. It's all for pleasure. There's no morals or morals. There's no morals behind it. It's just, I just want to feel good. You just want to feel good. So let's go feel good.
The girl don't even know what it is to feel good. I'm gonna be like, there is no, I was reading this book about, y'all probably heard of her, Centonia Brown. And I read her book, Free Centonia. And she was saying like she had 30 men on her list that she had slept with, but none of them were pleasurable. She was just having sex off the strength of, let me do this so they can leave me alone. Like, and I think that's what a lot of young girls are doing. Yes.
What you mean? So they'll leave her alone.
So they'll leave her alone.
So she would give it up to him just so they'd move around.
Just so they asking, let me just do it. But you see, and you're questioning that. But who is telling her not to do this? Nobody. That's what I'm saying.
And that's why we say it ain't no shame.
But it's easy to judge. I'm not trying to be like, oh, but if they don't have somebody, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, if they don't have somebody like me saying, hey, having a conversation, hey, let's read our Bibles. This is what this says. This is what we don't do. Yeah. Do let's go do something together. You don't need to be with them boys. If they're not in a space with safe women, then
do whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's easy to say, it's easy to trip up and be like, well, these young girls, but it is a shame, but we do need to bring back shame. I'm not saying that you don't, but we do need to start saying, hey, that ain't right. That's not right. Have your baby, but that's not right. What you're doing is not correct. That's not the order of how we do things. And so then we'll look at these young girls and we'll be ugly to them. So I'm not saying be ugly, but there does need to be
some enlightening,
a conversation,
an enlightening conversation.
Because if there is no conversation, then it's going to be a repeat of things. Yeah. It's going to be repeated. And then when you see these young girls, well, y'all watch shows like I do. Well, I didn't have anybody. Now I have my baby. Yeah. Then they'll go find another dude. Have another baby. Well, I don't have anybody if I have my 2 babies.
Next thing you know, they got 5 babies and 5 baby daddies.
So that's a cycle. And it's your psyche because nobody is saying to these girls,
Get your mind right.
But there does need to be, and especially within the church. And I'm not even going to say, well, I know we start off the Black community, but in the church of saying, because once again, it's all across the board with teen pregnancy. Mm-hmm. It's just not a Black situation or what is across the board. Teen pregnancy, not even teen pregnancy, just pregnancy in general, right?
Because there's some grown women out here who just open up their legs.
Same mentality.
And have that same issue, the same problems. No man, just having sex and having to deal with whatever comes with it because they knew in the back of their mind they man ain't want nothing to do with them besides laying up with them.
Like there needs to be some type of like conviction, right? There needs to be some type of, I don't even want to say remorse, because babies are a blessing, but there has to be this thing of God told man and woman, married man and woman, to be fruitful and multiply.
Babies are a blessing, but the process that got you there is not a blessing. So it has to be some kind of thought, some kind of conversation. And don't get me wrong, it's not just the women's fault. It's the men too, because men out here, they want pleasure. They want to knock something down, and they know in the back of their mind, in the front of their minds, that they don't want anything else to do with you besides that. So it's on both ends.
Yeah, that's been my argument since I started. I said nobody's talking to the girls, and then nobody is talking to the boys.
Yeah.
Nobody is saying, if we see, what's the running joke when you bring your new chick to the barbecue and your uncle be like, nephew, that's you.
Yeah.
But uncle ain't say, hey, nephew, use protection. Hey, nephew, treat her like this. Hey, nephew, but
you're
it's
doing too much, nephew.
you see, it's nephew, that's you.
That's my nephew.
She's beautiful. Or she's pretty or whatever. That's you.
What happened to the last one?
So it's a thing of communication, of really communicating and having conversations, having real conversations with girls and boys, and not starting when they get 16. It was these. I was having this conversation with you. I was saying how in these homeschooling groups, there are women who are like, well, I want to introduce the Bible stories. I don't like when people say Bible stories. Just say the Bible.
Yeah, they ain't stories.
Because it's history. It's biblical history. It can fit into
just fairy tales.
It's not fairy tales. It's history. But how they'll say, well, I want to introduce my 5-year-old to the Bible. We'll read the Bible to him. Mm-hmm. What are y'all using? What type of things are you? The Bible. Because if you start at 5, say you start reading the ESV at 5, they might not understand, but okay. Then when they get to 10, do you remember when we read at 5 about this? But let's reread it. And what do you think about it now at 10 that you kind of understand? Then at 15, you read the same thing with them. And so then it's a thing of that's been ingrained in them. So the point of me saying that is, start your child at 5. Hey, this is your vagina. This is your penis. Stop using that's your hoo-ha. And
this is the birds and the bees.
Like, no.
These are humans. We ain't talking about no insects.
Have the conversations. And now I'm not saying you go deep with a 5-year-old, but hey, somebody touch you. They don't let anybody touch you. Like, these are the conversations.
And that's why I think a lot of people denounce or just stay away from the Bible and God and all those things, because there are morals and standards that come with that. And if I read that and agree with that, then it automatically tells me that I can't do what I want to do.
Absolutely.
And most people want to do whatever they want to do and have no consequences on the back end. So I think that's why a lot of the world is saying, I don't believe in God. I don't believe in the Bible. The Bible is a book written by cavemen. All of these stupid behind things that they've thought up in their head or they heard from other people who also want to do what they want to do. And we need to get back to some standards. It has to be some standards. There has to be. There's laws and there are rules for a reason. If you deviate from those, we're going to go and we're going to get worse and worse and worse as society progresses. And we see that every day.
Yeah.
Even with a lot of the sexual orientations and all of that stuff there. We went from bad to worse. It's not getting any better because no one has any consciousness for righteousness.
People do have consciousness for righteousness. And here's why I say that, because we all are ingrained with right and wrong. Now, I will say this because even though you might not believe in God, there's still this moral compass in you to know that, that's wrong. I shouldn't be doing this. There's something in you, Holy Spirit. There's something in you telling you, but you go against the grain to do.
And then you have all of these individuals confirming you in your delusions.
Exactly. And you have people who are afraid to say, no,
that ain't right.
That ain't right. And when I mean people who are afraid, mamas and daddies who won't say to their children, that's not what you're doing.
You're living out of order.
That's not what you're doing.
Yeah. We're going to be like, oh, it's okay, baby. You just live your life. No, it's time out for letting people live their life if it's going against anything that's anti-humane, deviant, debaucherous, all of these things. We need to start speaking up for these things. Forget them people that's talking about live and let live, because that's trash. And that's some terrible advice.
My thing is with parenting is, especially with the millennial parents, is we don't want to treat our children how our parents treated us. I will stand on that until probably the day that I die. We will go right every time and not follow, like, I don't want to treat my child well.
I want my child to be my friend. Right.
Like, my children will never be my friend. Never. I am your mother.
I am the authority.
And when I mean, like, never be, like, don't.
We cool.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But there's a hierarchy to this thing. There is in my case, there's a patriarchy to this thing. I'm the lead, you the children, so you follow. I ain't no children finna be leading me nowhere. I'm not finna be confirming your identity delusions, your sexual delusions. I'm not confirming any of that, because I know right from wrong. I'm teaching you right from wrong. I'm teaching you righteousness. And if you go against that, I'm going to speak up for it. I'm going to speak up against it. And I think a lot of more people need to have these thoughts, or this way of thinking, or whatever you want to call it. More people need to be that way, because, like I say, it's getting worse and worse. Things aren't getting better. And we're confirming more and more deviance as time goes on. And I don't stand for anything that's anti-humane, that's anti-God, that's anti-Bible. Don't get me wrong. We all do things that are considered sins. But like I've said before,
we are sinful people.
But like I said before, there is a difference between sinning and leading a life of sin. You can't wake up. The whole thing about sinning is God gave us the ability to repent for those sins.
Yeah, but if you don't know, like you just said, if you don't read the Bible, you don't know that.
You don't know repenting is even a thing.
Right. So you can't say, like, they're sinning. We know they are sinning, but you can't be like, because number one, probably don't know what sin is, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, and they don't probably see what they're doing is wrong, because nobody around them is saying that it is wrong.
And there's so many people trying to do it.
Right. So that's just like the makeup thing, right? That's just like how you dressing. Like
this is what the Times is doing.
The time is doing.
This is the culture.
Exactly. You can look and see, right? I hadn't been with y'all for a while, but we in Nehemiah now. But we had read in Ezra. And so Ezra was talking about how at the end of Ezra 9 and 10, and this is where they talk about intermarriage. And so intermarriage, the Jews were marrying pagan women. The Jewish men were marrying pagan women. And Ezra was like, y'all tripping. Like, this ain't the way. This is not what we're supposed to do. And then they knew this, but because the Lord had left them, they were like, okay, we gonna rock with these pagan women. So that is, if the Lord is not with you, there's no way that for you to know. There's no reason for you to do the right thing. Exactly. There's no reason for you to do the right thing. There's no reason for you to do the right thing when government is saying it's okay. When your president says it's okay. When your government, but your government are not saying it's not okay. And grandma and grandpa say it. Your aunties and your uncles say it. Baby, your friends just live your life. No. Like that is. So you can't be like, there's no conviction anywhere. If nobody is saying anything, but then you come across our page and then that's why it's the anger, right? If you go across Allie Beth Stuckey's page, you go across Candace Owens, Brandon Tatum, like if you see any of their arguments, you'll be so upset with them because you don't like what they're saying because it goes against
you living the life that you want to live and doing whatever you want to do. But I'm here to tell you, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. People are entitled to do whatever they want to do, but don't be surprised if I'm not okay with it. If you're around me doing it, don't be surprised if I say something about it. And that goes both ways, because if I'm doing something that's not right, I would expect someone to tell me about it as well. It's all about conviction. If you have no conviction, there's no correction. Well, we've come to the end of this episode. We'll catch y'all next week. Thanks to everybody who tuned in with us. We'll see y'all next week. And like always, it's love, peace, and soul.
Bye.
Like Soul Train, baby.